All right. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to create an automation and use that package in this automation, right? So for this, I will create an API task, my Mongo database automation, right?
Just one clarification here. In order to use connector, do we really need API task only, or it works with bot task as well?
Connector packages work both in bot tasks as well as API tasks. And I will show the demo for bot task as well shortly. I want to search for the package that I created. So this is the package that I created, right? Mongo database 202. And if I just hover on some of these actions, you can see that it also shows the description of that action, right? You can see the description here, right? Using the slash find one endpoint will let you retrieve a single document. So this has automatically been imported from the Postman file that we uploaded previously, right? That's also a great feature. You don't have to manually provide descriptions. Although you can, the tool allows you to edit these descriptions anytime in the connector builder, but the good thing is it automatically imports any of the available information so that um, the connector build time is as less as possible. I'll configure the authentication action, and then I'll just show the find multiple documents here. um, as you can see here, the authentication action shows the base URL automatically for you. Now, assume that I share this package with another developer who has created their own Mongo database instance. So what they'll have to do is they'll simply have to replace my base URL with their data API URL. This authentication action needs an input as an API token. So this API token is also generated in your Mongo database instance. Um, if you go to app services, and I'll paste a link on how to get the API token and how to create a cluster and all of these in the notes. But when you create a Mongo database instance, you get a couple of things. One is you get the base URL. You also get the API token for your Mongo instance. So this is used to authenticate any API requests that you make to your Mongo instance. So I'll skip this section for now. And so this is how you can, as you can see, the package has appeared in the API task editor, and you can start configuring the actions just like how you build bots today, right? Now, I have created a bot here, as you can see, and this bot uses the same package, MongoDB package that I've generated. The only thing is the name of the package here is MongoDB Postman, but all of the actions are the same. If I go to the authentication action, you can see that I have my base URL here, and I'm saving my API token here in the sample string variable. That's my API token. I'm configuring an action called find multiple documents, right? Um, if you look at this action, it uses the same session called default, which has been specified in the authentication action, which means the API key will be sent as a header in this action automatically. I don't have to supply it as an input here. It goes automatically in the request. In this case, if I show you the Postman API Postman package here, MongoDB Postman package, I have kept these values as user provided. I have not changed it to hard coded, which is why you see all of these inputs here, right? But in this case, where I made the inputs like the content type, the access control request and accept as hard coded, which is why we don't see them show up here. We only see the collection name, database name, and data source name. In this bot here, I have added the data source as cluster inputs. This is the cluster name of my cluster in Mongo database. So I go to data services, and then clusters are nothing but a set of databases in your Mongo instance, right? So this is the cluster I created, cluster hyphen winpush. So if I connect to this cluster, and there's multiple ways you can connect to the cluster, but for now, I'm using a client called MongoDB Compass, right? So that client is here. So this is my MongoDB cluster. In my MongoDB cluster, I have 5 databases. And if I open this database, which is called as Automation Anywhere, in this database, I have 5 collections, nothing but 5 tables, right? Now let's look at this table here called Imagine Event. Now this table has 3 records or 3 documents, as we call in Mongo. Each of these 3 documents provide information about the Imagine events, which is an Automation Anywhere annual event. So the Imagine event for 2024 is in Austin. 2025 is yet to be decided, and 2023 was also at Austin, right? Now, what I'm going to do is, through my bot, um, I'm going to retrieve the Imagine event information, right? I'm going to retrieve all these 3 records which I just showed you here. I'm going to retrieve these 3 records and display in my bot. So how do I do that? First is I configure the data source as my cluster name. Data source is also called cluster. The database name is Automation Anywhere. As you can see here, the name of the database is Automation Anywhere. And then the collection is Imagine Event, which is nothing but 5 collections. Out of 5, I have Imagine Event as one of the collections. So I give that as input. Now, what I'm doing is, I'm capturing this response in a dictionary variable called dResponse. I'm finding out the size of that response, how many documents are there. And then I'm also getting the value of the key called response, because this response will have headers, will have a body, it will also have the response code, usually 200, right? So out of those 3 things, I'm interested only in the response section, which is the response body. So I grab that response and store it in another variable called key value. And finally, I'm displaying the number of documents, which is nothing but step number 3, the size of the dictionary I'm displaying after converting it to a string. And finally, I'm displaying all the documents that I'm retrieving in step 4, which is document list. So let's run this bot and see the result in real time. There we go. So it says number of documents is 3, which is correct. And this is the list of documents. This is the first document for Imagine 2024. This is the second document for Imagine 2025. And this is the third document for Imagine 2023, right? So this is a simple demonstration of how you can interact with your data in your Mongo database, right? The example I chose was find multiple documents, but you could insert documents, you could update an existing document, you can delete any of those documents, or you can run your aggregation pipelines. Based on your business use case, you can use one or multiple of these actions in your bots and automate the business process.
That was cool comparatively. Like if we have to do this using Java SDK or like the previous ways of doing building connect packages, custom packages. So it would have taken days. We have to write custom code, unit test that, do a lot of to and fro if the values are getting retrieved correctly or not. So a lot of work, right, behind the scene.
Yeah, glad it resonates with you and your audience. One of the aspects of connector builder is the democratization of creating connector packages, right? Earlier,
Mhm.
if you, like you called out, if you didn't know Java or how to use the SDK, there was no way for you to create these connectors, or we'd like to call them integrations. Right now, if you have a decent amount of knowledge working on APIs, you can build it yourself. All you need is read the documentation of the API provider and understand what actions or what endpoints you need in your automation, and based on that, you can generate your package in no time.
Thanks a lot, Vineet, for the live build and sharing how we can build a connector. I'd like to ask some questions based on the demo that you have shown just now. So, whether first question like to start with whether this connector package or connector builder functionality is it available for customers who are on cloud and on-prem both?
The connector builder feature is only available to customers that are currently on our cloud instance. However, we will be rolling it out to the on-prem customers in a near release in October this year.
Oh, awesome. Okay, that covers my question. The follow-up question, basically, when it would be available. So you have already answered. So October, right? Somewhere in the month of October this year. Okay. But yeah, let's say I have one control room, which is my cloud instance, and I can build this feature. And can I build this and use it in my on-prem control room?
Absolutely, great question, and I like the way you think. So until October, or until we release it to on-prem, it's tentatively October. So you can build your connector packages in our cloud instance, and you can download them, like I showed, and upload them to your on-prem control rooms.
Okay. Okay. Licensing, I think we have already covered.
Absolutely. So we offer a base license package and enterprise license package. Connector Builder is not available on the base package. It is only available if you have the enterprise license tier.
Okay. Okay. And one thought came in my mind. Let's say we there are a number of systems which operates through or which does a data transfer using APIs. So mostly all the connectors are not available. But if I want to make some generic connectors, let's say custom connectors which people can also use, like I build it once and share it somewhere like our bot store. Like people build bot packages and they share it across, so everybody else can also benefit out of those. So is there a feature that a developer can contribute and they can build their connector package and share it across on some marketplace or a bot store?
Sure. So today, if you were to build a package using our SDK, and if you wanted to contribute to the community, you have a way to go to the bot store. There's a form that you'll have to submit, and you also have to upload your package jar file. So the same process remains for Connector Builder. We are also working to create a dedicated space on the bot store for these connector packages, apart from custom SDK packages. So yes, that feature is there, and we will build a separate space on the bot store to also have connector packages their own category and listing. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Uh, Probably one last question. What would be the like roadmap? So we have seen this connector builder feature in .32 now. So what are the future roadmap for this feature?
Yeah, great question. So we know that um, connector builder has made it easy to build connector packages in no time. um, so this no code tool has made it super easy to build packages, but having AI in this mix, it will make it breezy to build packages, right? So um, we are thinking of ways in which how we can use AI to build, uh, to even simplify further some of these operations. Can we use AI to parse an open API file and understand each of those actions and come up with the actions that are suited for my business workflows? really tailor make those packages for my organization. Today,
Mm.
once we import the API definition, as a developer, you still have to go to each endpoint and understand if it's returning the right response. You'll have to map the response to the ones that you're interested in. But how can we take this to the next level, which is you just issue a prompt in natural language, say that I have Salesforce, I have ServiceNow, and I have HubSpot, and I have this operation in my current business scenario. Can you suggest me some automations that I can automate? So the tool will automatically come up with multiple flows, intelligent flows. It will automatically create these connector packages if you don't have it, and then it will come up with flows. So you will end up with multiple templates if you like, and you'll just have to configure those templates, and uh, which will serve as your end-to-end workflows. So we are not just talking about integrations, but end-to-end workflow building using AI. So that's something we are actively working on. But apart from that, some other features that will definitely introduce in the future are support for GraphQL. GraphQL is also gaining a lot of prominence these days. So apart from REST, we'll also think of supporting GraphQL.
Awesome. So in connector builder, we don't have to, as a developer, like as an end user, we don't have to write any much code. It's mostly about configurational things, right? Still, are there any best practices or recommended approach?
It's recommended that you've tested the API that you want to create a package for once at least. And you can test it in our connector builder tool itself. In the connector builder, when you are configuring any action, if you notice there is a test tab as well, you'll have the ability to test your API and see what response it is returning. And you can actually use that response to tailor make your actions. What I mean by that is hide away all of the complexity that involves in APIs and make it very simple for even citizen developers to consume those APIs. Um, just make it as simple as a mapping exercise rather than having to understand how to extract a field from here and how to pass it there. So that is one best practice is understand the API, and based on that, based on your business requirements, uh, abstract all of the complexity. Also go through multiple definitions. You have access to a lot of out of the box connector packages in automation 360, but if you find that some of these out of the box connectors don't actually cater to your requirements, you can build your connector for these out of box packages as well. And for example, I've seen some users building a HubSpot package which has more than 100 actions in it, right? So it's like they've imported everything that HubSpot offers, so they are ready to do any kind of automation related to HubSpot. Yeah, I think these are some of the best practices, and we'll also update these on our FAQs in our documentation portal. So please watch that out as well for best practices.
Sure. Thanks. Thanks for throwing some light on all these topics and answering all the questions. I think, yeah, definitely it will benefit people, and they can try their hands on. Are there any plans to include some part of it in community edition so that people can, without enterprise license, also try this out?
Well, I would love for more hands from the community to use this feature. I will have to go back and do some more research on that before I can answer that. But right now, it's not available on Community Edition. But I can work with some of your audience team members if they're really interested to get their hands on. Uh, you can connect them with me, and I can work it out.
So people watching this can comment down below the video. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Vinith, for joining me in this live demo and sharing your knowledge. Any closing comments from your side?
Yeah, in fact, this was one of my first live build demos that I've ever done. I enjoyed doing the live build with you and the kind of questions you asked. I'm sure some of those questions I'll definitely recommend my documentation team to add as frequently asked questions on our portal as well. So thanks for those questions. Also, I'm very excited to see what kind of connectors your audience build or they are interested to build. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Have a good rest of the day.